So see, I will just try to talk about some basic things like as the name of the subject itself is having the word data mining. So I will try to talk about that last part. What is data and what do you mean by mining? And then we will try to talk about statistics also. Okay, so this particular subject is statistical data mining. Okay, so I will try to talk about last term first as I told you. So it is so out of this, you might be knowing about what is data. Any idea about this term? What is data? Anyone, any idea? What do you mean by data?
So collection of informations in a tabular form, structured and unstructured data.
Okay, collection of information. Any other answer, Mrunmay, Pratik? Any other answer other than this? Darshit is saying collection of information. Any other idea? Because to understand this basic term is very important. I'm just trying to break up the name of the subject itself. Okay, so as we want to understand statistical data mining, so I
Data,
want you to understand what is data and what is mining and what is
data
statistics.
qualitative and quantitative value.
Qualitative and quantitative value is a type of a data, you can say, right? So
Yeah.
our question is, what is data itself? Very basic thing. Many times we make use of this, but this is what happens generally. Many people are confused with this or maybe not sure about
Collection of
this.
information.
Collection of information, right? So if you are saying it's a collection of information, then my next question will be, what is information then? Right? I think Darshit has also answered the same thing, that it's a collection of information. My question will be, what is information? Right? Because see, everything starts from data itself. If you understand this one, then only you will get this one. Right? Any other answer? Anyone? I think some other people also joined. Pratik, Jaydeep, you can unmute yourself and you can try to answer these two questions, because it's a very common term. That's why. Data and information. Okay, it may be wrong, no problem. Okay.
So information is facts which we collect
Right.
while experimenting, or sometimes we experiment and we collect the facts. So it is an
Right.
information, and that we store in our computers and all in a tabular form, and then it becomes data. Then afterwards we try to do some analysis from that.
No, actually you are going wrong way. You are going opposite way. Actually, it's not like that. So if you are saying, Darshit, you are saying that we store information onto computer, right?
No, sir, that not specifically. I'm saying just
Okay.
an example that we collect
Okay, in general.
facts.
In
And
general.
yeah, in general.
So yes, that is information. But see, you cannot say that information data is a collection of information. I will just try to clear this particular point. In simple words, I can define data like this. Data is just a raw material. Always try to understand. See, when we people also work in our work on our projects in companies, I have seen that many freshers and many experienced people, they are also confused with this term. If you are clear about some basic terms, it is always easy for you to clear, for you people to understand the other terms related to project or maybe related to other domain, right? So I will define data like this. Data is just a raw material. Then what is information? To answer this question, I will say information is processed data. Very basic term, but very important. See, in this syllabus, I will show you people some practical applications also. I will also show you the projects in which we people work, right? I will share my experience. I will share all the details about me once all the people join actually, and then I will try to conduct this particular subject in such a way that you should have an idea about practical approach also, right? So we will just try to make the things interesting, and we will try to see that each and everyone should be able to get at least some idea about how we generally make use of all these statistical terms in real time in companies or in organization to develop the projects. Maybe in different domains like the machine learning, data science, artificial intelligence, computer vision, NLP. So we'll try to see why is it so much important. So what is in this subject is they have actually combined statistics with data mining. That's why I'm just trying to talk about this particular term. But to understand what is data mining itself, one need to have an idea about what is data. So as I told you, data is just a raw material. Always remember, because see, if you only have data in your machine, you are not going to get anything. So data is just a raw material. Information is processed data. For example, if I say there is something which is in the shape of cone, there is something which is cold, and there is something which is sweet, right? This is data, right? And it is called as ice cream is nothing but information. A very simple example. In simple language, I'm just trying to tell you that what is the difference between data and information. Now, is it clear, all of you? What is data and what is information? Darshit, are you able to make
Yes,
sense?
sir.
Right?
Yes, yes.
So I hope other people also are able to understand what is data and what is information. See, we are not going to get any analysis, or we will not be able to make use of any decision making with the help of data. Information is going to give us that. That's why it's very necessary to convert data into information. That is to process that. Once you process the data, then only you will get the information from the data. So try to understand these basic terms. Now, as you want to understand data mining, so I started with this particular term. I started with data. So everyone is clear. Data is a raw material. From the data, we have seen the difference between data and information. Information is a processed data. Now, my next question will be, again, you might have heard about this particular term also. My next question will be, what is database? Have you heard this term before? All of you?
Yes, sir. Where
Right?
we store data.
Right, where you
Mm,
store data. That is nothing but database.
yes.
So, for example, in terms of computers, if I talk about, in terms of computers, right? So there are different examples you might have heard about. Can anyone tell me? All of you have used Microsoft Excel, MS
Yes, sir.
Excel. So can anyone tell me,
Yes.
is it a database? Is it a database?
Yes.
Yes, sir. As
Yes,
compared to it's a database, sir.
it's a database,
Because
right?
if its data size is small, then we can easily store in that
Yes,
Excel.
definitely. Even large data also you can store, but there is some limit. There is some limit to Microsoft Excel. Okay, so like this, you might have heard about something like MySQL. Have you heard about MySQL?
Yes, sir. We have
Yes,
done that
sir.
SQL also.
Okay, you have done SQL, right? So that means you are aware about Oracle database also, MySQL also, and like this, there are number of databases. For example, MongoDB, which is a document-oriented
MongoDB.
database, CouchDB, and so on, Hadoop kind of thing. So these are some of the databases. Now, my question to you is, if you understand or if you have worked with all these things, my question is, suppose if I open Notepad, is it a database? Notepad, is it a
Yes,
database?
sir.
It's
Yes, sir.
also a database. So definition of database, now we will try to see. So what is database? If I ask you, so Darshit has rightly said that okay, it is something which stores data. But if I want to define database, I will define it like this. Database is actually a collection. I will define it like this. Collection of related data. Let me just write it down properly. Collection of related data is nothing but database. The term related is very important, right? So database is a collection of related data. Why related? Suppose for example, if you take Microsoft Excel is a database which can store data in tabular format, or MySQL even it can also store data in structured format, tabular format, rows and columns. So related, that means these rows are related to columns. So collection of related data is nothing but database. Okay. Now once you are clear about database, there is something which is called as data warehouse. Have you heard this term, data warehouse?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me the
Yes, sir.
difference between database and data warehouse? Anyone? What is database and what is data warehouse? Any idea about this? Or any example? What is database and what is data warehouse? So see, you have heard both the terms, right? You are already aware about both the terms. You might have come across somewhere, or maybe in your previous semesters, previous year, you might have come across these things. So can anyone tell me at least 2 to 3 differences between database and data warehouse, or what is the main difference between them?
Sir, I think so. Data warehouse is a collection of large data sets where organizations store a huge amount of information.
Right,
And
right.
database is a
That
and
is one point.
database is used for for doing specific task. Then we use small databases. But data warehouse is a hub, total big hub where all the data is being stored.
Right. Any other point anyone wants to add? Chinmay, Mrunmay, Pratik. Any other thing you people want to add? Prashant, Jaydeep.
Data and data warehouse is a collection of multiple database.
No, data. I am asking you database, not data. Database and data warehouse. What's the difference? Database and data warehouse, I am asking. Is it clear, Prashant? Question? So see, I can say that data warehouse. So one point, Darshit has rightly said that, okay, data warehouse size is generally greater as compared to database. But why is it so? What's the reason? So I will say that data warehouse is also a database. Try to understand. Data warehouse is also a database. The difference is that size of the data warehouse is large as compared to database. One point. Second point is data warehouse stores historical data. Always remember, it stores historical data, and database stores current data. Now, what do you mean by this? The best example of database is OLTP systems, online transaction processings. And the best example of data warehouse is OLAP, that is online analytical processing. Again, you might have come across this one also. OLTP, what do you mean by this? Online transaction processing means, for example, if I want to give example, so maybe online railway reservation system. So there we use database. Maybe if you talk about Book My Show, we try to book the tickets online. Again, OLTP system it is. So database. So whenever you want to store real-time data, it's a database. Whenever you want to move the data from the database and store the data as a historical data, we use data warehouse. That's why, see, for example, just take an example of any bank, State Bank of India. So now State Bank of India, they need to store a lot of data for all their customers, because customers can come on any day, right? They might be coming after 10 years also. So they need to have their database stored. They need to have each and everything about those customers. So what will happen? For some days, data will be there in database. Suppose if you do a transaction, if you go to the ATM, try to withdraw some money, your data will be stored. That transaction will be stored in database for some days, maybe 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, 1 month, right? Or 30 days or 1 month or 2 months or 6 months. It depends on the policy of that company or organization. Once it is that particular period is over, that data will be moved to the data warehouse. Why? Now, why is it so? Because data warehouse data is a historical data. As it's a historical data, that means this kind of a data can be used for analysis, or you can say for decision making. Now I will tell you a simple example. Suppose there is one bank and the employees of the bank are trying to take pre-retirement. Generally people go for retirement at the age of 60, but there is a bank and the employees of those bank are actually going for pre-retirement. Now the manager wants to find out what's the reason why they are going for pre-retirement. What they can do is they can refer this data warehouse, their historical data. What's happening? Suppose maybe number of customers decreasing. What's happening? They will go to data warehouse, because data warehouse is the thing which is having historical data, and from historical data only you can go and you can have some decision making. Or you take an example of any other domain, for example sports. If what I can say, coach wants to find out what's going on, what's going wrong with some player, what they can do, they can refer to the previous data, so previous statistics about that player, on what type of pitches that player actually score runs, right, which area he or she prefers, and so on. So historical data. The point is simple. My point is that data warehouse is also a database which actually is used to store the historical data. That's it. So the only difference between them is database stores current data and data warehouse stores historical data. Why? I told you. That's why, as it's historical data, and that's why the size of the data warehouse is bigger as compared to database. So there are a lot of examples. You talk about any real-time example, online railway reservation system, right? Book My Show, or if you go to Amazon, Flipkart, this kind of e-commerce websites, so that data will be stored first in the database because it's a current data, right? So in those cases, you will see these are databases, and then it will be moved to data warehouse, right? Now, is it clear the difference between database and data warehouse? Any question, anyone? Any doubt? You can even send the question in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself, as there are very few people, so you can unmute, no problem. Any question, anyone?
Sir,
No, sir.
is it possible?
Hmm.
Is it possible to save current data in data warehouse too?
That's what I told you. See, data warehouse is also a database. So yes, it's possible, but no one is going to do that because generally, whatever the things we call it as data warehouse, so generally their size is bigger, and current data, it's rarely like this, that we are going to move current data directly to data warehouse, because database itself has that much. See, again, try to understand. To answer your question, first of all, yes, we can do that, because I told you data warehouse itself is a database, so obviously we will be able to do that. Why we do that? See, now, just now we discussed about Microsoft Excel. No, Microsoft Excel, if you people have tried to search any time, Microsoft Excel itself has some limitation. It can store rows up to some limit. Beyond that, it cannot store. So obviously, there will be a time when you need to move the data from that database to data warehouse, right? Because you talk about any database, storage will be required, and there is a limit to storage, right? And one more reason is that if you go on storing a lot of data in one database only, which you are going to make use of in your current what we can say in production, that is uh, the for the softwares, for the applications which are being used currently in real time, if you are trying to say that, okay, I'm going to store everything in the database itself, I'm not going to use a data warehouse, that application is going to slow down, because it is going to require a lot of time for search. You might be knowing, right? Just take an example of your machine. If there's a lot of data in your laptop, obviously your laptop is going to slow down, because it is going to make use of RAM. RAM is your current memory, right? It's a primary memory. If you have suppose 8 GB RAM, right, and you have a lot of applications running, so those applications are going to make you utilization of the complete RAM, 8 GB RAM. That means your machine is going to slow down in that case. So instead of that, what you will do is you can store whatever the applications which are not, whatever the processes which are not required, to stop them, right? That's why uh, after some days, generally, maybe in some cases 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, database data will be moved to data warehouse, because that can be needed for analytics or decision making, which is going to help.
So, sir, basically, it is something like backup.
See, I cannot say backup, because data is not here, data is here. Yes,
Okay.
backup is going to come, backup will be there for data warehouse. One more data warehouse will be there, or one more database will be there, which will act as a backup for that data warehouse. All of you getting? Because see, this data is also very, very important, because this is going to help the companies to avoid risks, to make good decisions, and profit actually depends on good decisions only. See, it's very simple. Whatever the mistakes you have made in past, if you want to avoid those mistakes, you need to know what mistakes you made in history, in the past, and in this case, you will come to know about those with the help of data warehouse, because it's historical data. Is it clear? The person
Yes,
was
Yes,
asking.
sir.
Yeah, right. So try to understand. Data warehouse is actually nothing. It's not different than database. It's also a database. The only thing is that it stores historical data. Database stores current data. Data warehouse size is bigger as compared to database. I already told you because of speed. And there are a lot of other advantages also. Okay. Now, let me clear this. Point of discussing all this thing is because our subject name is statistical data mining, right? So as we want to discuss this particular term, data mining, that's why we have discussed all those things. So I started with data. Data is raw material. We have seen the difference between data and information. From data, we have seen that there is something called as database, which is a collection of related data. Again, I am saying related. Why is it? Why that related term is important? We will discuss that. Now, we discussed about data warehouse also, and we have seen the difference between them. After that, once you have a database, now you might have heard about something called as DBMS. Anyone any idea about DBMS? What is this?
So we already learned DBMS.
So can you
Database
define?
management system.
So that's a full form. I am asking you what it is. That's why I am discussing. See.
So, sir, where we fire a query and we get the related information from database.
So what is DBMS? How can you define it?
Mm,
That's right. That's what DBMS does. What is DBMS? I also see. I know that these are very basic terms. Let me clear it. All these terms. You will notice that why they are important. Because forget about you people. I have seen experienced people also. When I go for trainings, I have seen that people are not clear about all these terms. Even though you have already learned these terms, maybe definitely it is going to add something new. You will notice that. So can you define this particular term DBMS? What is it?
sir, I think so. Name itself suggests, na sir. Okay,
It's a full
database
form.
management system.
It's a full form, right?
Okay.
It is controls the access of data.
It
That's
is a
what.
management system. So
Mhm.
it could include stuff like creating database, storing new information in it. So different things that we can do for a database, in a database.
Right. So it is going to be helpful to create all those DDL commands you might be knowing about, right? Create, alter, drop, truncate, rename, and all those things. So that is what DBMS does.
Yes.
My question is, what is it? So in simple words, DBMS is just a software. DBMS is just a software because it can be developed, but developing a DBMS is a very cumbersome task. It's a very time consuming task, and that's why generally you will see that in companies people will not, you will not see people developing DBMS as much you see other softwares being developed. It's also a software. Now what is software? Software is a collection of programs. Program is a collection of zeros and ones, or program is a collection of instructions, and instructions are nothing but zeros and ones. So it is like this. Okay, so we are just trying to discuss all these basic terms. So why am I telling you like this? DBMS is software because see, now you have your machine, your hardware. On top of hardware you have operating system like Windows operating system, any flavor of Linux, or some other flavor of Windows operating system. Okay, so like Unix or Linux, like Ubuntu or CentOS and all those things, Red Hat. So on top of operating system, now you have database, right? Now you need to talk with this database to fetch the information, to get some information from the database. So for that, user wants this. So user is going to make use of some software, and that software is going to be DBMS. You might have done some practicals also. You might have fired the SQL queries also, right? But yeah, this is also again very important to clear. Even though basic, but yes, important, because you will see in your syllabus, you will see that you are going to come across all these terms again and again. So now user, what you can make use of? User can make use of some languages. It's not like that it's only SQL. There are other languages also. But as you people have learned about SQL, so SQL is a language which user is going to make use of to communicate with the database or to fetch whatever he or she requires. And in the process, DBMS is a software which is going to help it, right? So it is going to fire. So DBMS is actually a collection of rules. How it is developed? It is developed with the help of some rules. What are those rules? For example, simple rule you might have come across is every SQL command should end with semicolon, right? Suppose if you fire SQL command, select star from some table name, right? So that particular command should always end with semicolon. It's called as delimiter or separator, right? Again, let me tell you, you might be ending every SQL command with colon only, but that's not necessary. You can use this one or this one also. You just need to fire one command, right? But by default it is colon. That's why you might have seen colon only. So this is one rule. So DBMS is a software which is actually developed with the help of some rules. This is a very basic rule. That's what my point is. Now, as you are clear about DBMS now, can you tell me now what is RDBMS? Again, don't tell me the full form. Again, you have heard this RDBMS also, or let me know if it's new term for you. Let me know. But I hope you people might have come across this particular term also, RDBMS. If not, let me know. I hope you are aware about RDBMS, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So can anyone tell me what is RDBMS? Because in your lab we are going to
Enhanced
require that. Yeah. Yes, Manoj.
enhanced version of DBMS.
Okay.
Relational
Enhanced.
database management system, which I
Yeah,
guess
right.
for us,
Relational database management system. What it does?
it works with the whenever I guess the database is somehow related.
Yes, right. What type of a database? So DBMS.
So if we want some information from another database, then we use relation between those columns from another database. If you suppose you want to see your what example I can use for that? Transaction history, what month, in which month you have done that all the transactions. Then if you want that, then you can take that data from the another database, which your all the behavior is been stored. Basically, from data warehouse we take all the information.
No,
As you told, that data warehouse is also one of the database.
Yes, data warehouse is definitely
stored in tables.
Right. What? Who told the answer?
Structured database.
The data is
Yes.
stored in tables.
Yes, structured database. Someone has answered it correctly. Structured database, and one more person has answered it correctly. So DBMS you are already aware about. DBMS is a software. This word relation. What do you mean by relation in database terminology? Try to understand that. So I think two people have answered it correctly. RDBMS stands for Relational Database Management System, and this relation word in database terminology always means table. That's it. So that means, what do you mean by RDBMS then? That means it's a database management system which deals with tabular data. That is called as RDBMS. Because see, data is not always tabular. Every data you cannot go and store it in the tabular form, that is rows and columns. If you take an example of social medias, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, can you store all those things in tabular format? No. It's unstructured data, audio data, video data. So for those data you cannot make use of RDBMS kind of a thing. That's a limitation for RDBMS. So try to understand, R in RDBMS stands for relation, and relation in database terminology always means table. So RDBMS is a DBMS, database management system, which deals with tabular data. And the examples of RDBMS are, now I will write down here. MySQL is a example of RDBMS database. Oracle also stores data in tabular format. Now they have other versions also. Now Microsoft Excel we have seen, it also stores data in row and columns. So all these are RDBMSs, relational database management systems, right? And some other databases I named earlier. Do you have any idea about this database? Anyone heard about this one, MongoDB? Because I don't know whether you have come across. No, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
Yes. So can anyone tell me MongoDB what it is? What type of a database is it?
So it is also tabular form only.
No, not tabular. Not tabular section. Anyone, any idea? So have you studied about the MongoDB in the previous semester?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, right? Okay, no problem. So see, MongoDB is a database which is document oriented database. So what do you mean by this? Because see, if you talk about current situation, as I told you, social media. Now you talk about any social media, even you talk about the platforms like YouTube. Lot of data is being generated. You cannot store video data into tabular format. That's why we need other databases. You cannot go and only play with RDBMS. No, not at all. You have emails, you have SMS, you have audio data, video data, WhatsApp data, Instagram, Twitter, all social medias. So there you are not going to get structured data always. So that's why there are other databases also. So MongoDB is a document oriented database. It's a document oriented database, and it makes use of one document which is called as JSON document. Now what do you mean by this? It means JSON document. I will show you one example. So suppose I want to store some data like this. So a JSON document actually looks like this one. So it's a key value pair. So suppose I want to store this data, Sachin. Okay. So, or I will write it down here. Let me clear that. So I want to store some data like this. So name of the player, it's Sachin. Single quotes I am writing down because it's a string. So I will tell you why to write down single quote and why it is compulsory. So suppose another thing, I want to store runs. So I am going to store runs like this. So 50k. So k I am writing down like this. Or maybe suppose if I want to use only number, so no need to use single quote. Just write down 50,000 suppose, something like this. Okay. So this type of a data is called as key value pair data, and which is the format which is actually followed by JSON document, and JSON document format is actually used as MongoDB database. So what is this? This is called as key, and this is also called as key, and these two things are called as values. So MongoDB database is a database which actually stores the data in key value pair. So key is always written in single quote. Value can be in single quote or cannot be in single quote, depending on whether it's a string or a number. Right? So MongoDB is database which is very different other than this, all these things. So all these are the examples of
Tabular form.
tabular RDBMS database which stores tabular data. Okay, so maybe if we get time, I will try to show you, because we will try to develop some applications also at the end with the help of all these databases, and let's try to see, okay, how much time we will get. Okay, so I hope everyone is able to understand all these terms now: data, database, DBMS, and RDBMS. Everyone clear or any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so along with now with the help with all these things, now let's try to move forward, and now let's try to see other terms. See, as I'm talking about RDBMS, and we have noticed that RDBMS databases can be used, or RDBMS can be used for structured data only, and that's why there are other databases which can store unstructured data as well as structured data. Right. So for the terms which you might have come across the term which is called as big data, right? So big data is like, it's everything, structured or maybe unstructured. But let me try to talk about some of the basic types of data. This is the first topic in your first unit itself, types of data. So types, if I talk about this one, just now we have discussed. Structured data, just now we have seen. This is the first type of data. Everyone is aware about that. Now if I want to tell you another data type. So structured data is what? Structured data is a tabular data. I have already shown you the example. The data which can be stored in rows and columns, it is called as structured data. Second type of data. Oh, okay, any idea about types of data? Structured and unstructured, you already named.
Semi-structured and unstructured.
Yes, another type is semi-structured data. So that's it. Can you give me any example of semi-structured data? Any example of semi-structured data? Or anyone, any other person? Semi-structured data, any example? So here tabular data is a structured data. Okay, you can even chat just in me in the chat box also. Okay, Semi-structured data. Any other type? Any idea? Unstructured data is already done. So fourth type is I'm going to write on unstructured data. But there is one more type. Generally, people are aware about these three. One more type is there. Any idea about that? So structured data, semi-structured data, unstructured data. One more type is quasi-structured data. So we want to see what are all these terms now. Structured data, semi-structured data, quasi-structured data, and unstructured data. So structured data clear. Semi-structured data. Let's try to see what is this. So the best example of semi-structured data is XML database. XML database is the best example. You might have used some scripting language, right? So HTML kind of language you might have used. So how do we write down the code in HTML? So suppose I want to store name. I want to store name. How will I store? See, I will store it like this. I will use angular brackets. I will write down name, and here I want to store the name as Sachin, right? And then I want to close that. So close it and write down this angular brackets here, right? Which are called as tags. So it's a simple HTML code. I hope you people are aware about basic HTML format, right? So XML or HTML database or XML database specifically is the best example of semi-structured data. Why it is called as semi-structured? Because it is having code as well as data. So semi-structured data. Is it clear, everyone? Are you able to make some sense here about semi-structured data?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now let's try to talk about quasi-structured data. So quasi-structured data is also called as, or if I want to define it, it is also called as clickstream data. I hope some of you might have clicked the answer now. Clickstream data it is called as. Let me show you one example for that. See, I will open one browser. So let me open one tab and let me show you how quasi-structured data actually looks like. Okay. So here I am just I went to this www.google.com. I hope everyone is able to see. See, here I will type, suppose I will type Vishwakarma University. Right. Now are you able to see all these results, right? So I will click on first result, this one. So I clicked on that. Okay. Now I got all these results, whatever you are able to see here. What I will do is I will click on this one, but try to notice that as and when I will click on that, just try to observe that there will be a change in the address bar. Here, see, there will be change in the address bar. Now address bar contents are looking like this, right? All these are the address bar contents till this one and so on. So once I go and try to click on this first result, see, let me click on this. There will be a change in the address bar. See, are you able to see the contents of the address bar now change? I'm trying to highlight it, right? Suppose if I click on another link, if I click on another link, suppose if I go and submit here, again the contents of the address bar are going to change, right? Or if I click on this one, again the contents of the address bar are going to change. So the data which is being generated here in the address bar, that is called as clickstream data, and that is the example of quasi-structured data. Now what you can do with the help of this data? You can do a lot of things. You can do, and you can go and analyze and make decisions. You can do analytics also, a lot of analytics. For example, what you can do, suppose I want to know which types of websites generally a person visits from a particular IP address. So what I can do, if I get all this clickstream data in one text file, what I can do is I can write down a program in some language and can find out which type of website he or she has visited many number of times. It's like a word count. I will count, okay, www.unipune.in. This website he has visited 100 number of times. Okay, so another website visited 50 number of times, and so on. So I can get an analysis from this kind of a data. So clickstream data is the best example of quasi-structured data, right? So just now I tried to show you an example. The data which is being generated through clicks, that is the example of clickstream data. I hope that's also clear, right? So what you can do is store all those links in one text file, store that text file and make use of that text file to get some analysis, right? So let me know if anyone is having any doubt in between. I hope everyone is clear about this one also, quasi structure. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if it's clear now, let's try to move to the last type of a data set, type of a data, which is called as unstructured data. So what is unstructured data? So the data which is not structured, semi-structured, quasi-structured. It's not like that actually. Let me tell you. So obviously the data which cannot be stored in tabular format, it's unstructured data. The best examples are audio data is a unstructured data, video data is unstructured data, right? Even if you talk about image data, right? So SMS or talk about WhatsApp chat, again unstructured data, or maybe for that matter you talk about any social media. So Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, they are all the examples. They generate unstructured data. So there are a lot of examples of unstructured data. But if you talk about current situation, maybe more than 80% of the data you will be able to see that it's unstructured data only, right? So these are some of the basic types of data. We started with data and we have seen all these types. Remember, structured, semi-structured, quasi-structured and unstructured data. And let me try to talk about this one also, big data. So again, big data is not a new term actually. It was already there. It is just that with the time actually, as the size of the data, as more fast hardware is actually being in the market, so people are able to process very large data now, right? So that's why more and more data is being generated. For example, all the social medias are going to generate data and all this, right? Even here you can have some hardwares also which will generate data. So sensors also generate data. So big data is actually having everything out of this. So if you want to go and if you try to talk about the definition of big data, it actually depends on 5 V's. So the first V of that is volume, then the second V is velocity, then third V is value, volume, velocity, value, then one more is variety, and one more is varsity. So volume is nothing but the size of the data, generally in terabytes, petabytes, zettabytes, 10 raised to power 21 zeros. So size is very huge. It can be structured, semi-structured, quasi-structured, or unstructured. It can be anything. That's why I said it can be a combination. Velocity means the speed with which the data comes and it goes. It means what? It means the speed with which the data travels. If I want to talk about the best example in which the speed is more, sensor data. So you might have heard about driverless cars, right? So there are many cars now. You will see that there are sensors in the cars, and those sensors are actually sending the data to servers. So it is traveling very fast. So velocity is also one important aspect which comes under big data. So volume, the data which is having high volume, high size. The velocity, the data which comes with very high speed and it goes with very high speed. It travels to and fro. Then there is something called as value, right? So value is nothing but the data which we have as a big data, for example, whether it is generating any value or not. Value in terms of money, value in terms of profit. Okay, so whether it is being used for generating some value output or not. Okay, then there is something called as variety. What do you mean by variety? Variety means the data can be structured, semi-structured, quasi-structured, unstructured. It can be audio, video, image. It can be social media data. It can be anything. So lots of varieties of data. That also comes under big data. And varsity means trustworthiness. So what do you mean by this? What do you mean by trustworthiness? That means the source from which we have fetched the data, whether that source is a trustworthy or not. Should we depend on that source to create some models or to get some data? So is it trustworthy source? So that's what varsity actually talks about. So try to understand big data actually revolves around these 5 terms: volume, velocity, value, variety, and varsity. So volume, velocity, variety, varsity, and value. These are the 5 V's. Earlier they were 3 V's. Now they are 5 V's. Okay. So I am telling you because maybe if you refer the older definition, you will see that there are 3 V's. So that's what about big data in a short, I can say. Okay. So which involves around data. So you might have noticed that everything actually revolves around data only. Okay. Now what we want to discuss is what is data mining. Okay, so we have discussed about data, types of data, and all those things, and information also. So if I want to tell you what is data mining, so in simple words, mining, try to understand what is the dictionary meaning of the word mining. It is just that go into the deeper and try to understand with all the basics, or go and try to understand each and everything about that. So you might have heard about gold mining or coal mining, right? So people go very deep and try to get all that material and try to get whatever things are which are important. Similarly here also we try to mine the data, we try to go and try to understand and try to create the stories about the data. So data mining actually helps us to make decisions, to make some decisions, and to avoid, at the end of the day, to avoid risks and to make profit, right? So data mining is just try to understand data very deeply, try to make stories about the data, and try to avoid the problems, and try to build the models, maybe for predicting something or maybe for classifying something. Okay, so we will be talking about this data mining term in detail, right? Here today, as it was just a first session, I'm just trying to give you an overview about all these terms. Okay, but yes, whatever I have discussed, those are very basic terms again, but they are very, very important. Okay, so any doubt, anyone till this point? Any question? Anything from your side?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
So the quasi-structured one, how would we differentiate them, differentiate it from the others?
Quasi-structured data you are saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as I given you the example of quasi-structured data as clickstream data, right? So I can say, see, you can say that as I given you the examples of unstructured data like this one. So quasi-structured data also cannot fit inside table. So yes, quasi-structured you can see it's also one type of unstructured data, right? So if you want to say how you can differentiate from others, from structured data you can differentiate it, because quasi-structured data you cannot store it in a tabular format. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Semi-structured data again you can differentiate it from semi-structured data also, because quasi-structured data is not written like this.
Yes, sir.
And this one I had just now told you. You
Okay,
can
sir.
say it is one type of unstructured data. Right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other question? Anyone? Okay.
No, sir.
Yeah. So okay, maybe in the next whenever we have next session, I will be sending the links in the group, and I will let you know the time also. So I think, yeah. So what I will do is in the next class I will go through this particular syllabus, and I will try to tell you how are we going to approach it, how are we going to discuss it, and what things we are going to do. Because in your syllabus, if I see, okay, just let me know, are you people aware about R language?
Yes, sir.
And what about Python?
Yes, sir. We are aware about
To an
both the
extent.
languages.
Both of them you are comfortable with, right? Whether it's R or Python, no problem.
No, sir.
Okay. That is good then. Okay, no problem then. As we are already done. So today here we will stop, and I think maybe tomorrow, or I will try to set the timetable, and I will just try to send the link for the next session in the group. Okay. So today here we will stop, and we will meet in the next session. If anything
Thank you.
from your side, let me know. Yeah. Thank you all of you. We will stop.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Yeah.